Welcome to the Healing Pod. I'm Megan, a licensed clinical psychologist.
And I'm Jessica, a licensed clinical social worker, and this is our journey of navigating anxiety as we learn to take up space and create an environment where we feel that we can belong.
Join us together as we learn not just to survive, but to thrive in our anxious brains.
This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you are experiencing any mental health concerns, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or healthcare provider. Remember, your mental health is important, and seeking personalized professional help is key to your well-being.
And welcome back. We have a non-Jess again today. Casey, I think we might need to upgrade you from fill-in to secondary co-host standby.
I feel like I should be included in the credits at this point. I really do.
And I think we might need to. We'll redo the opening and just kind of pop your face in there at some point too.
I like that. I won't be mad at that. That's fine.
Okay, that'll work. But yeah, we wanted to get together today and talk about something that very gratefully we have not had to deal with in almost 20 years. Dating.
Oh, thank God. I would be so ill-equipped to try and date at all, because I didn't really date at all before we got together. I mean, we started technically dating right when I finished high school, so I have no idea how to date. So I don't know how anyone today does it.
I truly don't know either with how it is today. The little bits I did, I was not very good at. Turns out anxiety and dating is a hard combination.
Yeah,
very hard.
Even, you and I had been friends for, really close friends for quite some time before we started dating. Even when we made that shift into dating, yeah, I had some very real anxieties about everything.
Mm-hmm. And it does, it changes so much about what you can trust in a relationship, what feedback you're looking for, just how you approach interactions, how much we microanalyzed every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's your brain on overdrive. It's something that's really important that you really want to work out. And because it matters so much, that anxiety just jumps.
Yeah, I tend to overanalyze dumb little inconsequential things in my life. So when it came to something as big and serious as shifting from friends to dating, oh my God, I was the hottest mess for a long time, really. And even now, I still have my moments.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we both do. It's definitely easier because we know each other. We've been at this for a long time. We know how we each work. So a lot of the insecurity and the feedback and reassurance loops, a lot of that stuff we kind of have shorthanded down to, I know what I'm saying, I know how to respond, and I know that, okay, yep, that is just that little bit of, that doesn't actually need to happen. I don't actually need that response. And if I do need it, you are there for it.
Yeah, I can't imagine, truly, I can't imagine trying to navigate all of these things with a person that you just don't know very well, and you don't know where their boundaries are. You don't know what actually irritates them versus what you're just projecting as irritating them because it would irritate you. It's a minefield.
Yeah, because I think even there's been times where it's hey, you seem upset. Is this me or is there something else going on? Because the only thing I'm seeing right now is the fact I've texted you and now you're shorter with me, or, we just woke up and you're saying something. Even being married for as long as we have, there's still those moments where I have to remind myself that your world does not revolve around me. And if you have emotions, they are not necessarily about me.
Yeah. And I think as anxious people, I am going to speak for both of us because we are very similar. We assume that everything that is bad in our world is our fault, regardless of how irrational that is. Everything that goes wrong around us is our fault.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I can objectively look at things and say, no, I am not the reason this happened. I'm not the reason that something went wrong at Meg's office. It's still somehow my fault, and I have to try and fix it and navigate it and make it about me in a way that it definitely is not and shouldn't be. But that's how our brains work.
It is, and I think there is some level of need to control in that because if I am to blame, if it is my fault, if I ruined your day, if I ruined your mood, maybe I can keep it from happening that way in the future. I can keep you from being hurt. I can keep you from being upset. I can make it so that this discomfort, this potential rejection doesn't happen because it's all my fault. So if I just do better, I won't have to get through these nasty feelings, and that's not reality.
It's not reality, and it's also not terribly helpful. Like, I cannot micromanage your entire day, your entire life, so you never experience a moment of stress. It's just not realistic. And it kind of demeans you and your ability to cope with normal day to day stress. You have your own stressors that I can't fix, and I need to respect and trust that you can deal with them on your own. You're a grown adult, you can manage your own things. I need to not take on things that don't involve me and don't need to involve me.
And a lot of times when that pattern happens, it ends up creating an extra layer of now not only does this external stress need to be dealt with and I have to deal with that problem, I want to help you and I have to deal with your stress and I have to reassure you. So there is that extra balancing act when you throw anxiety in the mix of I'm dealing with the stressor and it's making me mad. So, am I allowed to be mad or does that set you off? Am I allowed to be upset at that or is that going to make the house too stressful? Is there a way I can do that healthfully without it being about you? And if you are reacting to it, how much of myself do I have to give to helping you comfort and ground and come back to yourself too? And it can be a lot if you're not aware of the patterns and if you're not aware of what you're adding into the mix when you start to spin out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen this pattern happen with us a number of times. One of us will have a bad day. Let's say you come home, you've had a long, crappy day. I get all stressed out, spun up about it. I do everything I can to make it better, and I worry and I fuss and I fuss. And then by the time you're getting better, I have completely burned myself out. So I am the one having a bad day, and then you step into my role, and it just becomes this pointless cycle. And sometimes I just gotta listen to you vent about your day and say, yeah, that sucks, and
Mm-hmm.
not try and fix it. And that's
Yeah.
hard because you and I are both such people pleasers. We want to help, we want to make things better, but sometimes you just gotta let them vent.
Yeah, and there's so many things, about both of our jobs. Everything about both of our jobs, the other person really can't make better. We really
Right.
can't. Like we are both independent business owners. We have a lot of shit on our plates and a lot of stuff to do, and we can't take over for the other person. I
Right.
would suck at running your company and you would not do well at running mine. It
No.
just no, no, no,
No.
no. Either way, it would not work.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah, didn't we? Wasn't there some online question like if the two of you switched jobs, whose business would fail faster? And I think we determined that yours would, that I am somehow slightly less well equipped to do your job than you are to do mine.
I think that answer only came about because of that random video of us trying to wash the stuff that exists somewhere.
Oh,
Casey has this
God.
somewhere. I will
God, that
find
was
it.
so funny. I loved that. I had
Oh.
such a good time with that. That was so fun.
We bought these stuffed animals so that Casey could have me pretend to groom one, and it was amazing. It was hilarious.
This was like a week after the first COVID shutdown, and I was so stir crazy and so bored, and I wanted to like keep engagement on my Facebook page. So this is what we did. We went to Target or we went online and bought a couple stuffed animals, and we washed them and dried them and trimmed them. And I full credit to Megan. I thought I was gonna blow her out of the water. She did a really good job with no instruction at all, because God knows I wasn't gonna help her.
I mean, granted, by the time I was trimming the dog, I pretty sure I had hung them during the drying phase, so they were very calm. Very calm.
It was very, very funny. God, I love that video.
I will find a copy of that and post a link because it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
somewhere. I'll find it.
yeah. But yeah, like there's that need of you're upset, let me help you. You're upset, let me take it over. Let it be my fault so I can fix it. Let me take these burdens away from you. Trying to do all of that. And it does make us burn out because we can't.
Mhm.
No, I cannot take on anything that's actually helpful for your job. It just doesn't work. And like I said, once I burn out, now you're in that role. And then you're going to
Yeah.
burn yourself out because
Yep.
neither of us are actually recharging. Neither of us are actually recovering.
Yeah. Yeah. And when it comes to dating, say you've been seeing someone for, let's say, 2 months, you may not know where that line is where you can keep asking for support and saying, look, I've had a really tough time. I need the support. I would be constantly worrying that I am asking too much. And that's, again, that's not fair to the other person. You have to open your mouth and speak to them. Most problems within relationships can be solved by opening your mouth and speaking to the other person. And that can be hard when you're still feeling each other out.
Absolutely. And it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to trust that the other person will be there to help and will not be like, "Ugh, really, you need my help again? You need something from me again? You need me to do things for you?" Like a big part of that anxiety and that people pleasing is that fear of I'm too much. My needs
Yeah.
are too much. My existence is too much. If I just let myself be me, I'm going to scare you off.
Yeah. Yeah, when you and I first started dating, we were still going through our own separate mental health issues. And we started out with a long distance thing. You were living in Virginia. I was still going to undergrad back home in New York. And we were still going through our own independent stuff. Starting dating fixed a lot of things, but it didn't magically fix everything. And you could tell we were still doing that dance of what is going to put too much strain and too much pressure on this new relationship, because we were still navigating that upgrade from you know gal pals to actual gal pals, and it was hard because even we knew each other so well, this somehow felt different. So again, I can't imagine trying to navigate that without that long history that we had together.
I remember needing to train myself how to do homework when you were around. Because if you were home,
Yeah.
I had to focus on you and I had to give you my attention. I had to spend time with you
Hmm.
because that's what you're supposed to do with someone you love. That's what you're supposed to do. And doing homework, doing my own thing, taking care of my own interests, my own needs. Well, I can't do that. I can't cook food you don't like. I can't spend time on my stuff if you're around and you want to relax. And granted, you knocked that out of my head really quickly and continue to do so, as long as it's not
I
mushrooms.
didn't, though. You still don't generally cook things that I don't like, which is beyond silly, but
I cook things that we both like, and I will not cook mushrooms when you're in the house because you hate the smell of them, but I will cook
I
them
do.
when I have time alone.
They stink. It's a fungus.
Yes, it is a delicious, delicious
That-
fungus.
No, I've seen The Last of Us. You don't eat fungus.
Did you eat it before it eats you?
Mm, mm.
Mm. Yeah. But I do like I'll put onions in things. I'll just cut them big enough so that I get to pick them all out and I get to eat them all instead of you.
Yes, which is very, very sweet, but not necessary. I'm an adult.
Otherwise, you're
I can
gonna try.
manage.
You say that, but it's easier if I can pick them out and then I can eat them and enjoy them.
See, this is exactly what we're saying. Don't do. Do not make the other person's problems your problems.
It's not really making it my problem. It's saying I want the onions. I like eating your onions.
And then you pick them out of my food.
Only if I'm serving it. I'll let you pick it out if you serve it yourself.
Fair.
But yeah, like there is that and it's a natural phase of dating and relationships anyway, where those first times you're together with someone, you're trying to show your best side. You're trying to be a person they want to pick. You're trying to be a person that they will like. You're trying to soften those rough edges and not show the gross parts as blatantly and be on your best behavior and not lose your temper.
Hmm.
And when you have anxiety, it really is heightened because it's not just, oh, it's polite and I would like to do it. It's if I show you that side of me, you will leave me. You will be disgusted, you will hate me, and you will leave
Yeah.
me, and I can't handle that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was something that we, again, went through when we first moved in together, because again, we basically lived in each other's houses, but being myself all the time around you, that that was kind of scary.
And it's so interesting because on the other side of it, like it was never scary for me to have you being yourself. It
Mm.
was comforting. It was, oh, she's human. I have the ability to be oh, she doesn't like this. I have the ability to not like something. She wants to do something on her own. Like those little bits were actually really reassuring, but only when they're someone else's. When they're yours, the
Hmm.
anxiety likes to scream in your head and say, no, no, no. Other people can make mistakes, but you're not allowed to. Other people can have problems, but you're not allowed to.
Yeah, even now, we are 20 years into this. I still forget that you are a person that has their own anxieties and their own struggles. Like you always come off as so together and like you always know what you're doing. But you are a person, and I need to remember that from time to time and not constantly put myself down saying, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm never going to be able to make it because I don't know. You always just seem to have it so together. So it's hard to break that habit. It's hard to not let those anxieties take over every so often.
It really is. And a lot of that, like, I have a lot of training in compartmentalization, which is fancy masking. Like, I
Yeah.
have a lot of training in this stuff that is tearing me apart needs to sit in this box over there, and I will deal with it when I can get to it. And right now, I need to be like, okay, mm-hmm. No, no, don't mind me just dialing this phone number on the side. We're up. Like, I have that training. So I forget at times that when I'm like, hey, I can't make that phone call right now because I am so frazzled from everything else in the day. I cannot talk on a phone to a person, even though it is their job to do a thing for me, and call this place and ask them to do this or check on this thing or order a thing. I can't do that at times because I don't
Yeah.
trust my voice to be able to keep that mask up.
Yeah.
And I forget that you can't see what's in the back of my head and you can't hear the constant chatter inside there that I keep having to turn down because I don't like bringing it out. I don't like showing it's not comfortable.
Yeah. But if you can't open up to me,
Mm-hmm.
then who? That's kind of the point. That's what I'm here for. That's my job.
It is. And I've gotten better. I have gotten
Yeah.
better at it. It's still, I have to remind myself to do it at times.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that, like, I am going away. I am going on vacation without you, with some friends to see Jess, to see Florida. Like, I am going away. And I have to reassure myself. And every now and then it's like, this is okay, right? You'll be okay. You will be okay.
Hmm.
I have no idea how I'm going to do on the vacation because I don't think about that. I think about, will you be okay? Is this okay?
Hmm.
Are you going to be mad at me for leaving you? Are you going to be able to handle everything? The animals are a lot. It's a lot to handle.
They are a lot. I will not lie to you. The animals are a lot. There's a lot of them. Well, there's about to be more of them any day now.
We got like 8 eggs in an incubator back here. They're
Hmm.
about to pop. Yeah.
Hmm. Any day now.
It'll be great. Little pee pee chicken noises again. But yeah, like,
So I think because you and I are both very similarly anxious people, we can recognize these patterns in each other and we kind of know how to cope with them. But if you are an anxious person with I hesitate to say normal person, a non anxious, a person with a typically functioning brain, how do you bridge that gap when, because I imagine most people who don't have these anxieties just they don't comprehend how our brains are constantly spinning, constantly going, how we're constantly leaping to these conclusions. How do you bridge that gap between those two different outlooks?
a lot of that really does come down to being able to talk to your partner and being curious and interested enough in your partner to actually listen to them. So if you've never had this experience and you're like, oh, well, that's easy. Just make that phone call. Just go to this place. Just, send out the work email to the people that you know are going to be very angry at the work email you're sending out. And you got to do it. Like, that was me today. Like, do this. Just do it. Yeah, it's a little rough, but you'll be fine. Just do it. And if you can get them to hop out of their head for a moment, say, no, no, let me tell you what it's like. Let me tell you how my chest feels, how my shoulders feel. Allegories and examples and stories are very useful if you can pull them in. It's like, that feeling you get when you're climbing up the ladder on the roof and you realize, oh, this is actually not safe. I shouldn't be up here. Take that feeling and put it on the ground when you can't understand what just made you feel unsafe. When it might
Yeah.
be the entire world. It might be this thing that you thought was perfect, but you can't tell because something just feels unsafe. Something feels like you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be undone. If you take the wrong step, everything about you will be taken from you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
So,
that can be a lot for someone to understand, and you have to ride that line between sympathy and not letting the other person get stuck in that pattern. You should be willing to go along with them as far as you need to, but at the same time, kind of maybe gently guide them out of that pattern, because it's legitimately not a healthy state of mind to stay in.
right. Like, see, it's the difference between supporting and enabling. So,
Yes.
supporting is, okay, Megan, I know you've had a rough day. Yep, I can call these people for you. Hey, can you call these people sometime over the next week for me? Like, enabling would be, I will make every single phone call for you. You never need to make one. Don't, I know it makes you like jumping ahead and never letting your partner experience those feelings at all. The only way through anxiety is to feel the anxiety and have the world not explode. That is the only way
Yeah.
for your brain and your body to go, oh, I guess there wasn't a lion in the bush and that bush is safe. My bad. Let me regulate myself.
Yeah, I remember telling this story in my ketamine episode when I was in the middle of a treatment, and I heard a big noise or something in the house. It was probably just a dog or a cat or something bouncing around being stupid. And I heard the noise and I thought to myself, I should check on that. But then, because I was doing ketamine, doing the therapy, I said, no, Megan's got this. It'll be fine. And I was anxious about it for the next couple of minutes, but that feeling of overcoming was so empowering to me. And those are the types of moments that you should do everything you can to set your partner up for. You can't do it for them, but those moments are so strong. And I cannot overstate how good that felt in the moment and
Mm-hmm.
afterwards.
Absolutely. And there's some important things if you're helping someone through it and setting them up for those moments, you cannot force it.
No.
If you force it, it will not work. If you bribe them, it will not work. If it is any way outside of the anxious person's choice and control to face the scary thing, it will not work. So if it's, oh, I just have to, so I have to force myself through it, the anxiety will stay there. If
Yeah.
it's, well, I'm being paid, or if I don't do this, my person's going to be mad at me, the anxiety will stay there. You have to say, no, no, it'll be okay. Let me try it. Let me sit there in this. Let me see what happens after.
Yeah, flooding and learned helplessness is not the answer to these problems.
It's really not. And I've always hated flooding because I know me. And I know if you tried that nonsense with me, I would flip you off and lock myself in my own mind and you could never get me out.
Right.
So it would not make me calmer. You just would never be able to reach me again.
Right. Right. Shutting down is not the same thing as accepting what is happening around you.
Hmm.
It's two very different things.
Yeah. And again, it's the difference between someone else pushing it on you and you choosing it. If I chose to go into a very terrifying situation and stay there and see how I felt and calm down, I could do it and I could make it through it. But if you told me, we're going to do this for you because I think it's going to help you, oh, you don't know how stubborn I am. No, it's not happening.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
not happening.
No, it's not. So if you are an anxious person, you know this about yourself, you know you have these tendencies. If you are going out on your first date with somebody, you don't necessarily want to lay this out on the table. Like a this isn't like a kink conversation. You don't need to lay it out ahead of time. But at what point do you think it would make sense to, have this discussion with somebody and say, look, I can sometimes be like this. At what point do you think it's appropriate to have that conversation?
I mean, it's hard because there's no direct like, okay, by the third date you say this, and on the fourth date you say
Right.
this. There's not a quantification because it is a measure of intimacy. The issue and the trap you want to avoid is false intimacy. So a lot of times you will see this happen in new relationships. You will see this happen when someone walks into a therapy office and sees the secretary going, "Hi, how are you today?" You dump. You dump every bad thing about you,
Mm,
everything you've ever done, everything. And there was a study forever ago to fall in love with someone. You tell them your deepest, darkest secrets and stare in their eyes for 4 minutes.
oh, I remember this.
And this is very important to know if you are a therapist or if you are going to therapy. To fall in love with someone, you tell them your deepest, darkest secrets and stare directly in their eyes. So be mindful of that. When you're
Mm,
telling someone, this is the thing I'm having the most problem with, and you're sitting there staring at them across the room.
mm.
Those feelings are not real. They will not last.
Right.
Chill. But it
Right.
creates that sense of, oh my gosh, you get me. You know me. You know my core. You don't really know my core. You don't really know how I act and everything. You don't know how I brush my teeth. You don't
Right.
know, what side of the bed I sleep on. You don't know me. You know these little scary bits and pieces that I threw out very anxiously.
Right. And
And
I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. It's not like, on a first date, you tell people you have kids.
mhm,
You tell people your job. You don't necessarily need to forewarn them, but if it's something that tends to impact your communication style, you may just want to drop it in there and
mhm.
say, when you don't text me back for 8 hours at a time, I know that you're working. I know that you can't always look at your phone, but it makes me think you're mad at me. That's the sort of thing I feel like just drop it in there at some point.
Right. But you don't drop that in before you've been texting. You don't drop that
Correct.
in before there's a break. You start with the amount of information that is relevant to the situation. We don't have that. I have kids relevant to the situation. I have kids and they're this age and they enjoy doing this relative to the situation. Susie just got in trouble in third grade because she pulled another boy's hair, but that's okay because really that boy's an asshole. I know his mother and she raised him. Not relative to a situation.
I fight that baby every day.
True quote, true quote by her nephew.
Oh, it's still funny. Moving on. Anyway.
But yeah, like you give information that is contextually relevant and appropriate for the level of understanding that makes sense. Like I would like to open up a little bit to you to see how you handle it. I would like to give you some information about me that is important. I have a problem with, the dark, so let's do lunch. You know,
Sometimes I get
something
nervous on airplanes.
so I'm not flying out to Bali to meet you. It's fine. Okay, if someone offers you a first date to Bali, might be worth the trip. I don't know. Might be
Honestly, for the
kidnapped.
story alone.
As long as you return with at least one kidney,
Fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a story in it. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
But like you don't want to overdo it because that false sense of intimacy and it's a boundary.
It's a
It is
little red
a
flaggy.
it is. I don't know you if I'm just dating you. We cheated. We were really good friends beforehand, so I knew Casey really well. But if I'm in
Mhm.
a new dating situation, I don't know this person. I don't know if they're good for me, if they're not good for me, if they're going to be stalkery and overly controlling of me, if they're going to be dismissive and pay no attention to me whatsoever. I don't know. And therefore, I shouldn't trust them. And They don't know me. They don't know
Uh-huh.
how crazy I am. They don't know how dangerous I am. They know nothing about me. They should not trust me.
Yeah.
And if you're like, oh my gosh, here's my entire life, here's my social security number and my credit card if you need access to it, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
You're
thank
coming
you.
out a little strong.
You're trying to do that love bombing false intimacy of let me give you everything so that we build that really quick feeling so that means it'll be forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to be open, it's another thing to overshare.
Because it's not smart and it's not safe. And you do have to consider it's kind of like when you move in with a roommate and you both sign the lease. You want to protect the other person as much as you want to protect yourself. They should be cautious about you.
Hmm.
They don't know you. They don't know, are we going to go fatal attraction boiling bunnies here or what are we going to do? And they should be a little bit like, let's test the waters. Let's see, do you like things I like? How do you react to walking outside when I love walking? Can you do that? Or are you like, sidewalks, it's so passe. No. You want to figure these things out before you go all in.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, anyone who says the phrase sidewalks are passe, that's a red flag right there. You gotta get out. You gotta bail. You gotta go to the
Yeah.
bathroom and just Scott Pilgrim
Out the
your way
window.
right out the window.
There are some red flags that you're just like, and goodbye. Thank you very much.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it is like dating is ultimately a journey of increasing your vulnerability at a pace equivalent with your partner in order to see if you can trust and rely on each other and work together in a way that you want to for the long term.
Right.
And that's fucking terrifying.
Yes. Yes, it is. And it's okay to say to someone, if you've been with them for a couple of months and you think to yourself, this person needs to work a little bit on themselves. They are not currently in good working order enough to date them. It's okay to say that. It is not your job to fix another person. They have to fix themselves. I think it's wonderful if you want to not guide, if you want to support them, if you want to be on that journey with them. But sometimes people need to be told, you you need to work on yourself a little bit. You need to seek some therapy. You need to talk to somebody because that can, you know, s- having that what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the right
Insight, intervention,
intervention. That's the
feedback.
word. Yes. Yes. That level of no, there is something wrong with me. That can be very helpful as someone who not in a dating sense who has had that conversation with people or people have had that conversation with me. It it kind of pulls you up short a little bit and it makes you realize, okay, no, something I do need to seek some help.
And it is something that needs to be said with support, with kindness. Like
Yes.
I love Dan Savage's campsite rule.
Hmm.
Leave people better than how you found them. That does not mean lying so that they have no feelings hurt. If
Yes.
someone is a hot mess and is not in any state where they should be dating, being kind and being upfront and saying, look, you seem like you could be a great person. These are things that are very concerning. I worry about your safety. I worry about your health.
Yes.
I don't think this is a place where we can really connect right now. Can I be a friend? Can I be supportive?
Can we
Is
maybe
there anything
circle
more?
back in 6 months?
Yeah. It's like it's just not the right time. And that's okay. Or if you don't want that, that's okay too. It can be said in a way that is not how your anxious mind is going to hear it of, I'm sorry, you suck and you should never date anyone. Like,
Yes, that's
don't
not
say it that way.
okay. That's never okay. I mean, some people do suck and some people do need to be told that. But if they're having mental health struggles, do not tell people they suck and say you don't want to see them anymore. That's not okay. But, even again, looking back at us, when I first approached you about being more than friends, I was 10th grade, let's say, maybe something like that. I was in no way, shape, or form in good working order. I don't want to say the relationship wouldn't have worked, but it would have been a much bigger struggle. And it really was for the best that I got a little bit of help. I worked on myself a little bit. I matured a little bit. And then once I left high school, we started dating. There's no doubt in my mind that things worked out for the best the way that they did, even though at the time it was extremely painful for me.
And at the time, like my reason for not dating Casey was I lived in Narnia. I was still pretending to
It's
date boys.
it's true. It's
And
true.
like, yes, I should be straight because most people are straight and this is what happens and you are straight and I don't really like this boy, but they asked me out, but so I will date this boy because that is what
It was the early aughts,
it's a
20 years
thing at the
ago was
time.
not that long ago, but it was. The attitudes were indeed, especially in our small town in northern New York, they were different back then.
They were. And it's interesting to me because I love joking that I lived in Narnia, but it really just never occurred to me that I could be anything other than what was expected. Like, this is what is normal. This is what you should be. Therefore, this is what I will be. And paying absolutely no attention to how I felt, what I liked, what I didn't like at all. It was just, okay, this person asked me out. I guess I should date them. Okay, he thinks I should try grilled cheese and tomato soup. I hate these foods, but he's telling me to eat them. Let me try them again. Maybe I don't actually hate them. No, I still don't like them. Like, it just, there was so
I'm
much.
still willing to overlook that in you. I will never understand your dislike of the grilled cheese
I
sandwich.
I don't, I think it's a texture thing. It's the same with the peanut butter and jelly. It's just
It's
something
true.
about it. I just can't eat it. And I had a babysitter try to feed me peanut butter and jelly all the time, and I would just feed it to the dogs. It just, it was so much of that needing to please and needing to fit in. Because if I
Hmm.
didn't fit in, if I wasn't what was expected, what on earth was I? And what did that mean? And what would happen? I didn't know.
Yeah,
Never tried. Yeah.
yeah. I wore you down eventually, though.
You did. You did. It's
Hmm.
just like, oh, wait a minute. I have a feeling. Oh, wait a minute. If I have this feeling, if I'm feeling this bad about walking away from this person, oh, I need to do some thinking.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we both turned out the better for it, for having that time to figure out what we wanted and what we didn't want.
Hmm. And to actually pay attention to that. And even then, like, there are times now when I can feel us both getting very much in our heads, and we need that reassurance still. We need that. I know you're here. I know you love me. I know you married me, but you still want me, right? I'm not too much for
Yeah,
you. I am okay. And like, we both need that. And like I said, we kind of have it shorthanded because we know when that comes up, we know we don't actually mean it. We just need the reassurance because we're feeling low at that moment.
yeah, yeah. And I like it's not an exaggeration at all when I sometimes ask you, like, you're not sick of me, right?
Yeah.
I recently went through a really bad funk, and most people do not know this about me. When I get depressed, I become kind of catatonic. I will just sit, I will stare at a wall, I will not speak, I won't look at my phone, I won't do anything because I don't have the energy to do
Hmm.
anything. It hit very fast. It was very intense. It lasted about a day and a half. It sucked. And about 24 hours in, I look at you and I say, I am sorry that I am like this. Are you sure you are not sick of me yet? Because I know that I am a lot when I get like that,
Hmm.
and it's not fun. I'm not fun to be married to when I get like that because I am so useless. And I genuinely do need that reassurance because it will help pull me through it.
Hmm. And it's, you are absolutely right. You in that state is terrifying. It is not fun. It is very stressful. It is a lot. And it's worth it because I know you don't want to be in that state. You are going to actually do stuff to pull yourself out of that state. You
Hmm.
do stuff in between to keep yourself from falling into that state. And if I can just do what I can, not get my own anxious spirals, because that will set off my own anxious spirals at the time. But if I can
Yeah.
hold myself out of that and take care of myself at the same time, yeah, it's worth it. We'll be okay.
Yep.
But it is like, and if your partner gets in that state and they aren't getting help and they aren't working on it in between, which is a very important thing, to not just do the shrooms, you got to do the work, not just go to therapy, you got to work on it in between. Like, that is very important. If your person is not doing that, if they are just relying on you to give that reassurance, it turns into more of a compulsion than it does an actual reassurance. I say this reassure me, I say this reassure me, I say this reassure me, but the anxiety is still there, the depression is still there, everything that is driving it is still there, because they're not doing the work, and you will burn out because there is
Right.
no end in sight.
Right. It's hard, relationships are hard.
They are.
Our marriage has been, for the most part, very easy, but it still has its moments where it's hard.
Yeah. And like, loving you is the easiest thing ever. It's never changed, it's never altered. It just is. I just love you. It is easy, it is unquestioned, it's just there, no matter what other nonsense is going on. Like, I know years ago I used to joke with you, my favorite way to argue with you was to curl up on your lap, bawling my eyes out, saying everything that I was frustrated about, because it didn't matter what
Mhm.
I was frustrated about. I wanted you. I wanted you to comfort me. I wanted you to help me face the problem, because the problem wasn't really you.
Yeah.
It was how I'm interpreting these things, how these things are going on, this external force that's making us act like this. It wasn't you.
Right.
It's never, I want to be mad at you. It's, I'm mad and I'm hurt. Help me.
Right. And sometimes it's not easy. Like it's not hard to not want to comfort and reassure you, but because I have my own anxieties going on and I get in my head and it can still be a struggle. And
Mhm.
that's okay because we eventually will manage to speak about it and we work through it, and that's great. And like I said earlier, most relationship problems can be solved by opening your mouth and
Yeah.
speaking honestly and as unemotionally as possible to the other person. And I know that's not always easy. I'm an extremely overly emotional person. It's not always easy to take your feelings out of it and have an objective conversation with somebody.
Because it's not like, this is upsetting me, I shouldn't cry, I shouldn't show any emotions. It's not taking your emotions out that way. It's
Right.
not taking your emotions out on the other person. It's like, this
Right,
thing you did is
correct.
upsetting me, so I'm going to call you names and I'm going to tell you you
Yes.
were wrong and I'm going to put you down. Those are the things that will bring up that defensiveness, that will keep you from
Yes.
talking to the other person, that will keep you from seeing your partner as being your partner against the problem. Like, you never
Yes.
want it to be, I am against you. You want it to be, you and I are going to figure this thing out. And the thing is the problem. And the thing is what we are going against. The thing is what is hurting us and making us angry. But who you are to me, how you treat me, who you are, and your core person is not the problem.
Right. And in the moment, it's hard to remember that. It's hard to push through the irrational feelings and to remember you picked this person for a reason. You have been with them for as long as you have for a reason. Keep that in mind when you're working through whatever it is you're going through. It doesn't really matter.
And for myself and for my clients all the time, I'll remind them that oftentimes what we are actually fighting against is that caricature we have created in our head. So if I am feeling neglected, it's not you don't love me, it's this thing that I've taken just the tiniest pieces of
Right.
doesn't love me, and I'm ignoring every text message you sent me, every time you told me you love me, every time you've
Yeah.
shown me that, everything nice you've said that day, because I have a feeling and that thing matches that feeling. So that is what I'm doing. And if I can separate that and recognize that's not my wife, that's just this idea that fits these emotions that I have, and I can look at who you are and how you are actually responding to me in the moment, it's so much easier. It's like, oh yeah,
Right.
that's you. Okay, we can do this.
Yeah. And that's Anxiety wants to spin you up and twist everything into something that it is not. That's one of the things I really, really like about Big Mouth and Human Resources. It's one of those adult animated cartoons, but they have all of these emotions that are personified. There's the hormone monster and the depression kitty and the anxiety mosquito. It's not you. It's this force within you that is making you think this way and just altering things just a little bit to make you think differently about them. And it can be hard to shove that aside. It takes practice.
It really does. And that's the biggest thing is it's just practicing this stuff over and over. It is actually taking those breaths and opening your eyes and looking at the other person, opening your mouth and saying, hey, can you connect to me? Are you here? I'm struggling. Where are you at? And hopefully, this is a person you're dating, you're married to, you want to partner with. This is someone that can go, I'm here. This is hard. I'm here. That's what you're looking for because it lies. Anxiety and depression, they are these emotions that had a purpose that got so twisted out of their original purpose that they're just trying to perpetuate themselves. They become viruses at that point. How do I get bigger? How do I get bigger? How do I get bigger?
Yep.
And you can't feed them. You can't let them keep growing.
Can't eat the mushrooms.
Don't eat the mushrooms.
Never eat the mushrooms.
But they're tasty.
Are they though?
Yes, especially portobellos. Just don't eat the poisonous
Nasty.
bad for you ones.
Nasty. Listen, playing the Lost Levels taught me anything. It's that not all mushrooms are good for you.
Not all mushrooms are. Many mushrooms are not good for you. I could never be one of those people that go
Hateful.
out and peek mushrooms because I would probably pick the wrong ones and die. Never do that.
No.
They're delightful and delicious, and I like them. Anything else you have on your mind about this? Any other questions you got?
I don't think so, other than to again reiterate to be extremely grateful for you and the fact that I don't have to navigate dating at all, particularly modern dating,
No.
app dating, and all of that. I am in no way, shape, or form equipped to do that, so I am very glad that I don't have to.
I already survived the period of time in life with AOL away messages and microanalyzing, is this song lyric about me or not about me? What is going, like, I do not need dating apps in my world. I can't go back. No.
No, you're stuck with me,
No.
dear.
Yay. I like being stuck. Yeah. So it comes down to a lot of, what we've already said about anxiety. You're trying to connect to a person. So you need to be yourself. You need to have boundaries. You need to have communication. And you need to be open to what might be going on in their head as well. And believe them when they tell you. If they say, I love you and I'm here for you, you can absolutely not get it at all. It makes no sense whatsoever, but they mean it. Like, I tell you all the time, it's like, I love you. Like, well, why? I'm like, just because I do. I'm going to love you in a way you will never love yourself because I married you and you did not marry yourself because we do not practice that form of narcissism at all. It just,
I would
it's not in our
absolutely
souls.
not date me. There's no way, shape, or form.
You are not your person. You are not your type of person.
Not. I'm
But I
really
am.
not. Yeah, you are.
Hey, yeah. It's like, I am your person and you are my person. And I love you because everything you are, how I feel around you, how you treat me, there's just so much about you that matches me that you don't do for yourself. So of course you don't love you. You don't treat you like you treat me. If you did, you might be nicer to you. But that's okay if you understand that when I say I love you, it's because of how you are to me and not just how you are to yourself. And
Yeah.
you might not
I say-
understand why, but it is.
I say it all the time. I don't get it, but I believe you.
Because it is true. And that's the thing. You don't have to have the exact same mind frame as your partner. You just have to accept that they are telling you their side and their view and their mind frame and give them the freedom and the autonomy and the respect to be truthful. If they say they love you, it's because they want to say they love you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all there is to it.
It's just that easy, folks.
It is exactly that easy and exactly that hard. And I say that all the time because it is. You have a lot of anxiety. Breathing will help. It is that easy and it is that hard to breathe.
It's
Hmm.
really hard to remember to breathe.
It is. And yet it's just breathing. It's incredibly easy and incredibly hard. And so many things, especially in relationships, are like that. It's just talking. It's just connecting to the other person. It's just being open. It's just setting boundaries. And that's hard.
Yes, it is.
It is. But it works. So thank you so much again for being a partner in this, a partner in everything I do, but also, helping me out in my little side quests like this. I really
I'm just
appreciate
happy
it.
to be included.
I like including you. It's fun. So thank you everyone else for enjoying this and enjoying this, for joining us and hopefully enjoying this as well. If you found us online once, you can find us again. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're anywhere else where you can find your podcast. We have social media that, let's face it, our lives are busy, so it exists. We check it if you poke at us, but I posted something there a few times ago. Maybe I will again. Who knows? We exist. If you want to find us, you can find us. And otherwise, we will be back in a couple weeks. So thank you all again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye all.